Have you ever found yourself sitting quietly, not because you were tired, but because everything suddenly felt still? Maybe it was morning. Maybe it was late afternoon. You looked around the room, same chair, same walls, same clock ticking softly. And for a moment, you wondered, has the world slowed down? Or have I simply stepped outside of it? After 80, life doesn't stop. It doesn't even break. It simply changes in ways no one quite warned us about. Some of these changes arrive quietly, like a familiar song played in a different key. Others feel like they snuck in overnight, turning something once simple into something that asks more of us. You may still feel strong, still capable, still you, and yet something about how the world moves, how people respond, how your own body speaks, feels unfamiliar. Today, we're not going to talk about diseases, not lab tests, not checklists. We're going to talk about the part of aging that's real, but rarely named. 5 quiet truths that reshape how we see time connection, strengthen ourselves once we step into life after 80. You see, most conversations about aging skip this part. They talk about what to eat, which pills to take, how to avoid the next fall. All of that matters, but it's not the whole story. Because the truth is, after 80, aging isn't just physical, it's emotional, it's invisible, it's quiet. And that quiet can speak louder than anything on a medical chart. This video isn't here to tell you how to fix what's wrong. It's here to help you see what's real, to name what you've felt but maybe didn't know how to explain, to remind you that what you're going through isn't strange, it's human. Each of these 5 truths may sting a little, but they may also bring clarity, even peace. Because once we recognize what's changing, we can stop blaming ourselves for feeling lost and start honoring what we're learning. So stay with me, not for answers, but for understanding. The kind that makes you breathe a little easier and feel a little less alone. One of the first quiet changes after 80 is the way your world begins to shrink, not in space, but in voices. You might still get a phone call here and there. You might still see family once a week, but the rhythm has changed. The visits that used to be spontaneous now need to be scheduled. The dinners that once happened without asking have faded into memories. And even if you've always been independent, even if you've never needed a crowd, there's something about the silence that feels different now. You start noticing the long gaps between conversations. You find yourself talking to the television or holding onto a sentence just a little longer because you're not sure when the next one will come. This isn't loneliness in the way people think of it. It's not about being surrounded. It's about being remembered. You reflect more not because you're dwelling on the past, but because memory is how we hold on to those we miss without making a sound. And here's the truth. There's nothing weak about feeling the ache of distance. It's a sign that connection mattered. It still does. So even if the crowd gets smaller, even if the days grow quieter, don't let that stop you from reaching out. A single voice, one true connection, can fill a room in ways noise never could. The second truth often comes quietly in ways you might not expect. You wake up with a bit of stiffness in your shoulder. You brush it off. By lunch, it's worse. By dinner, you're wondering if it's something serious. What used to be a small ache now lingers longer. A simple cold doesn't pass. In a few days, it stretches into a week, maybe 2. A bruise takes its time to fade. A missed meal leaves you drained, and a night of poor sleep feels like it takes a week to recover from. It's not just that the body slows down. It's that your body stops bouncing back the way it used to, and that realization can feel personal, especially if you've always taken pride in being strong, capable, resilient. When your body begins to whisper limits you never used to hear, you start to feel the shift. And yes, it can be frustrating. You plan a walk only to feel your legs disagree. You bend to tie a shoe and realize it takes more effort than it should. But here's something no one tells you: this change isn't weakness. It's a new language. Your body is still speaking to you, just differently. It's asking for care, for patience, for presence. This is not the time to ignore discomfort. It's the time to listen deeply, to drink more water, to rest without guilt, to move slowly, not because you have to, but because you choose to honor where you are now. Your strength hasn't left. It's simply changed shape. And that is nothing to be ashamed of. There's a shift that happens after 80 that no one really prepares you for. You walk into a room, and it doesn't change the way it used to. You say something, and someone interrupts, not out of rudeness, but because they think you've finished. You start noticing the way conversations move around you instead of through you. At the store, the clerk looks past you. At the family dinner table, you repeat yourself and still feel unheard. It's subtle. It's not mean-spirited, but it's real. Your presence starts to feel transparent, not invisible, but not fully seen either. And it stings, not because you need attention, but because your words still carry weight. Your experiences still matter. You've lived decades. You've learned, you've lost, you've loved. But sometimes it feels like the world is moving too fast to notice what you've brought to it. That fading, that quiet stepping back can feel like grief. But let me remind you, you are not less. You are not past your prime. You are the result of 80 years of living. And the people who matter, the ones willing to listen, to ask, to sit and hear your story, those are the people who count. So speak, even if it takes longer to be heard, even if the room doesn't quiet down. Speak, because wisdom doesn't shout, it waits. And when the right ears are ready, your voice will be the one they remember. Loss doesn't always come with a funeral. Sometimes it comes quietly, in the form of a locked door, where your favorite coffee shop used to be. Sometimes it's the missing sound of a neighbor's footsteps, or the silence where weekly church gatherings used to happen. The world around you changes, not all at once, but bit by bit. People move, stores close, friends stop driving, new technology replaces old habits, and before you realize it, the life you once knew begins to blur. It's not that you're stuck in the past. It's that the past held pieces of you, places, routines, familiar faces that made your day feel full. And now even the smallest changes can feel like something sacred has slipped away. You might not cry. You might not even speak it out loud, but there's a quiet sorrow in watching the familiar fade. That sorrow is not weakness. It's not giving up. It's love. Because grief, even in these everyday losses, is proof that something mattered deeply to you. And here's the hope. While parts of the old world may drift away, a new one can still form. Not grand, not loud, but meaningful. A deep talk with someone who truly sees you. A morning walk that feels like prayer. A moment of laughter shared with someone who understands the same kind of silence. Your life doesn't need to be wide to be full. It just needs to stay real and connected. So hold space for what you've lost. But don't close the door to what might still be found. Some days your body feels like an old friend, strong, familiar, reliable. You wake up clear-headed, walk to the kitchen without trouble, open the cabinet with steady hands. And then other days arrive. You sit up slowly because your balance feels off. Your knees ache for no reason you can explain. Your hands fumble with the coffee cup, and suddenly you're reminded just how much your body has changed. What's hardest about this isn't the pain itself, it's the unpredictability, the betrayal, the surprise. You've lived in this body for decades. You've trusted it, pushed it, relied on it. And now, without warning, it changes the rules. What used to be simple, getting dressed, bending down, even stepping off a curb, now carries hesitation. Not fear, just uncertainty. You pause more, plan more, worry more. Not because you've lost courage, but because you're not sure if your body will show up for you the way it used to. And that feeling, that pause before action, can chip away at your confidence. But here's the deeper truth. Even if your body changes without warning your mind, your awareness becomes sharper. You learn how to adjust. You prepare. You adapt. You trade brute force for wisdom. You move with intention, not just momentum. And in doing that, you reclaim control. Not the kind of control you had at 40, but the kind that says, I know myself well enough to move smarter, not just faster. So stretch gently. Speak kindly to your body. Rest without guilt. And remember, strength isn't about never falling. It's about knowing how to stand again with patience, with care, and with deep respect for the journey that brought you here. So here we are, 5 quiet truths, each one a small window into what life looks and feels like after 80. Your world may grow quieter, but the depth of your presence grows stronger. Your health may shift in small, surprising ways, but so does your awareness of what matters. You may feel overlooked in the world around you, but your story carries more meaning now than ever before. You've lost routines, places, faces, and yet your ability to love, to connect to, reflect, remains untouched. Your body may be less predictable, but your wisdom, your courage to adjust, your grace in facing the unknown, that has only deepened. These truths may sound hard at first, but they are not here to bring fear. They are here to name what you've already been feeling, to remind you that what you're going through is shared, is real, and is not something you need to carry alone. Because when we speak these quiet changes aloud, they lose their weight. And in their place, we find peace, clarity, strength. So let me ask you this. Which of these truths spoke to you most deeply today? Which one have you lived through quietly without ever saying a word? If you feel moved, please share in the comments below. Your words, your reflections might be the exact thing someone else needs to hear. And if this video helped you feel seen or understood or just not so alone, I'd love if you subscribed so we can keep walking this road together. You're not done growing. You're not done giving. And the world still needs the kind of strength that only time can teach. If you've made it this far, thank you for spending this time with me. Your presence here matters. Your story matters. And the quiet strength you carry, it's not invisible. Not here. If any part of this message spoke to you, I invite you to leave a comment below. Tell us which moments stayed with you, or what aging has taught you in your own words. You never know, what you write might become someone else's comfort. And if you haven't already, I gently encourage you to subscribe and turn on notifications so we can keep walking this path together. We're building something here, a space for wisdom, for truth, for shared experience. Because aging isn't the end of the story. It's just a quieter chapter, full of meaning, connection, and grace. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, be kind to yourself, and don't forget, you're not alone. If you're watching right now, let me know you're with me. Leave a comment with a 1 if this information resonates with you. If not, type 0. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.